welcome. In today's video, I sit down and speak with Mike, who is a real member of David Chau's SPX Income Program. He agreed to sit down and speak with me and share his personal journey within the group thus far. This helps us get a real inside look at this trading group and understand what it's all about.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you
Good,
for
good.
taking the
Yeah.
time to talk with me today. I just have a few questions. It won't take too long. Um, the first thing I wanted to ask you is, how long have you been a member of the Inside Options group?
So I've been currently a member since last October. So actually
Okay.
coming up on 1 year.
Okay. And what's your experience been with it so far?
When I first started it, there's kind of a confidence builder right in between because it's kind of a new strategy that, I've never been used to or never seen. So when I first started, it's kind of hard to adjust. But after about 3 months being in it, gaining confidence, seeing how the system works, it's been tremendous. It's been great.
And had you been trading before joining this group?
Yeah, actually I have. Yeah, I did a little bit of everything. I've done investing, trading, and I still do it on the side. But it's nowhere consistent as where I am now. Not even close.
Okay. Were you a part of any other trading groups or like alert services or anything like that before?
Yeah, actually, I was, and it was all right. There was a there's a couple things, a couple programs that I found it to seem to work out pretty well as far as like the alerts and stuff. But as far as just taking a simple 5 minutes a day and placing a trade and making about $200 daily cash flow, you just can't beat it. Really doesn't
Right.
take any time. It takes no experience, and you get it right away.
Yeah. So you'd say like compared to other services you've tried, the consistency that you're seeing from this program is kind of blowing it out of the water, is what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt, without a doubt. I
Did you
mean,
have any?
there's. Well, sorry, what's that?
No, go ahead.
You do kind of have to have a little bit of you know, David's pretty good mentor, but you need a mentor, and you gotta have, at first, if anybody's getting in the program, I wouldn't get aggressive. I just kind of get to know the waters, know how the system works, and then once you start to build confidence and experience, then you can start to venture out and start to
Mm-hmm.
figure out a matrix that works for you.
Right. No, of course, that makes sense. Did you know how to trade options before joining this group, or did you learn options being here?
So no, I learned. I've done a little bit of options. I've done a lot of covered
Okay.
calls. I still do covered puts. There's a lot of things that I have learned. Like how to place iron condors as far as like putting it on the SPX every day. Um, more better at placing vertical spreads. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've done a lot of like naked call options too. When it's nowhere like this. I mean, this is
Right.
as simple as it gets.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah, it helps. I'm sure it helps to have that knowledge beforehand of basic options trading before coming into a strategy like this. So I was just curious if you were familiar with them beforehand.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit, but I mean, like, it's a different strategy. There's a different setup to it, because some days, I mean, if you don't have the confidence, you don't have the experience. Some days it can be really stressful. I mean, it really
Mm-hmm.
can because you're going to have that capital on the line, and there's a reason you need it in there. It's not to look at it. There's a day that you will need that capital on hand, and if you don't have confidence in the program, you could crack. You could crack easy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
really, it's really good to get a hang with the experience, to get to know it and to gain that experience. So that way, when you get in that predicament, you're ready to go all in and you have no doubt
Mm-hmm.
in your mind that you'll be just fine. But it
Right.
takes a while to get to that. Well, once you do, everything just comes together. It
Mm-hmm.
really does.
So you'd recommend for someone new to maybe try it with like a paper trading account first to get comfortable placing the trades and comfortable with the process?
No, no, not even that. I wouldn't even really recommend that. I would just recommend like maybe paper trading at first to really figure out how to set up that iron condor. So that way you
Hmm.
know before you start that you're doing it right, you're getting filled and everything's working in coordinates. But before that, I would say definitely start trading, but just run a very conservative matrix.
Hmm.
Like maybe wait for an outside day and then start with a contract and then kind of go up from there, depending on your capital or, whatever your stress level is. But definitely, don't go all in and say, oh, I'm going to make this money today. Just kind of test out the waters and start with one or maybe wait for that outside day and then start the strategy.
Hmm. Okay. And
Yeah.
what, go ahead.
Oh, no, no, no. Sorry.
Now, I was just going to ask, what made you decide to join this group? Like, did you have any specific goals heading in?
Yeah, I mean, from what I was hearing on Facebook and everything and all the reviews, I was like, it sounds too good to be true. So I was a little hesitant at first because, nothing's ever that easy and it's never that good.
Right.
So I was a little hesitant at first. And, my only regret now is that I wish I would have started sooner.
Hmm.
And that's what my
So,
only regret is, that I wish I would have started sooner.
well, that's a good regret to have, I think.
Right.
So, as far as, and I won't ask you for specific numbers or anything, but as far as your returns from being in this group, you've seen consistent growth on your account so far?
Oh yeah. I mean, I basically quadrupled my account in a matter of, I mean, I got a month left, but like, I wouldn't say I really started adapting and figuring out the system until about January. I started in October, but I had a rough time kind of, coming together and realizing how the system works and having confidence in it. And so
Hmm.
it took me a while to really start getting consistent returns till about January. So that's kind of like when my cutoff date is. I mean, I started in October, but I'm looking at January is when I really started becoming profitable with it. And
Hmm.
so within a matter of about 3 months left, I'm almost quadrupled my account.
That's amazing. And
Yeah,
what
no,
made
it really
you,
is. It's awesome.
yeah, definitely. What made you decide to leave the other like groups or services that you had signed up for? Because I know you said it was kind of, were they alert services or?
Oh, so there's a couple of them. One was an alert service that my buddy tried out, and he got in there and is like, it was pretty good. They send out the alert, but the catch is that the more you spend, the more they give you, the better the alerts. So if you're spending high dollar, they're
Oh,
giving you the alerts fast, and it's kind of like by the time you get that alert, it's already coming down because they've already pumped it to their other customers. So that way, once you got that alert, it's already coming down. You may
so
get
it was
one more pump.
a pump and
Yeah,
dump alert service.
absolutely. Yep.
Gotcha.
So we kind of played around with that for a little bit, and then I got in a pretty good trading group. I mean, where I was sitting there every day, constantly on my computer, just nagging away at the market, trading. I mean, that's all I did full time, and it was taking up so much time of my life that there's just so much other things to do that I was able to do, but I was being held back by trading.
Hmm.
So, in the same token, it just wasn't, that beneficial to me. It was better to
That
kind of
makes sense.
invest, trade when I see my opportunities, and let it come to me. But with
Hmm.
the program I'm in now, I mean, it's as simple as I can go work another job, make another income, and still be making more than my other job just on stocks doing 5 minutes a day.
Hmm. Yeah, it sounds like it's provided you a lot of extra freedom, which
Oh
is
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Able to do whatever I want to do. If I want to take off and go somewhere on the weekend, I can do that. Um, you know, Basically financial freedom.
Yeah,
Financial
which
freedom.
is kind of why everyone gets into trading, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody, but and there's still. I mean, it's still a job. You still have to.
Oh yeah.
You're risk and managing your portfolio. You really are. You got to figure out your tolerance. You have to know your matrix, and it is a job. It's not that hard, but it's not physically, but it can be mentally. It really can
Oh,
be mentally.
absolutely.
But if you got the right mentor and you got the right person there to help you out, it really helps with the calmness and longevity of the program.
Hmm. Yeah.
And some people don't get stressed out, some people don't at all. Some people are just, they're just naturals at it and they're used to having, a little bit of money or that type on the line to where they're comfortable with it. But when I started this program, when I put my money in it, that was all I had. I
Oh,
basically said, all
really?
right,
Okay.
yeah, I said, I'm gonna throw everything at this. I'm gonna give it a try and, I'm gonna try to learn it and see what I can do. And, like I said, the first couple months, it took me a while to adjust, but now it's cracking and it's working
Yeah.
out.
Do you think that part of your adjustment had to do with the fact that you did kind of put everything on the line? Do you think that maybe there was
Yeah.
a little bit of that like subconscious sort of fear there with it?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, for me in that moment, in that time frame, it was like make it or break it, kind
Yeah.
of. And being a new strategy where you've never really heard much and you don't really know what's going on. I mean, it can all sound great, but once you're in it is when the doors start to open and you realize kind of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I really got in there and I put all my money online and yeah, there was times where it took me about a couple months to gain that experience and to gain confidence. But
Yeah.
once I was able to come through that and learn how I was doing it, placing my trades and feeling confident myself is when the door just blew wide open. That's when the turns really started coming in. And then now, there's times where I'm like, okay, well, am I ready to go to the next level and upgrade and compound my portfolio? And I step back and I say, well, can you handle that many contracts? I think inside my head, and I'm like, I'm not. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I have the money to do it and I can do that. But there's still sometimes that fear of having all that money on a level of the line to where it's like, well, no, let's just keep gradually growing it. And when I'm there, I will take that step. I'll take that leap into that next compounding formula. So that's
Yeah.
kind of where I get. And I always ask myself, I have little pinpoints laid out of like, hey, this is where I want to be this month. And I have little goals inside that portfolio to where once I get there, I start to think about the next step. And I think,
Mm-hmm.
everybody should have goals. But that is,
Mm-hmm.
every time I get to the goal, I start thinking about the next goal and ask myself, are you ready? And that's
Right.
kind of the tough, you got to know mentally if you are. You really
Right. You have
do.
to be honest with yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's hard because there's a lot of people in the program that are just, I mean, walking out with tons of money a day. And it's like, dang, it's like, wow, I want to do that too. But, it's all about you and your mindset and the capital you're requiring on your drawdowns. I mean, are you ready for that next level? And some people are, I mean, some people they're all ready for it. But me, I just kind of, it's working out. I don't need to rush it. It's happening every single day. And I know that the next level, when I start that contract, I'm ready to go to the next level. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the best things to have. If you have that mindset that you're prepared and ready to keep climbing levels, you're going to come out just fine.
And when you say that you set smaller goals along the way, do you have like, is it a monthly goal that you're putting out there for yourself? Like, how are you
Yeah, like
setting those
right.
up?
Yeah, basically, yes. Some days I'm making in a week, I'm making $4,000. Sometimes it's, you know, $3,000 is what I'm averaging a week right now. So when
Oh,
I
so
take
you're
a look
putting
at
like
it,
a dollar amount goal per month or
yeah,
per week,
yeah.
essentially. Okay.
So quarterlies, I'm looking at quarterlies. I'm saying, okay,
Quarterlies.
if I'm
Okay.
here right now, where do I want to be? Because we got 3 months left. So, I started in October, which I'm coming up on, but January, by the end of December, I want my account to be at a certain level to where, you know, I'm happy with that. And I mean, I'm already
Mm-hmm.
happy with what I have, but I just setting myself to that limit so that way when I get there, I'm ready to go to the next level. I'm ready to
Right.
double that for next year.
Yeah. And with trading David's program, are you still following like trying to do any kind of macro analysis or additional analysis on top of that, additional research? Or are you just
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I do. I mean, I've always been drawn into the market. I love watching technical analysis. And, once you're in the market, I mean, I don't feel like you never want to stop right here. You want to have the sky to the limit because there's so much to learn in the market. I mean, there's days where I'm
right?
selling covered puts against some of my positions in my stocks. I mean, there's just a lot of things that I can do is like, and there's so many opportunities. So I tell everybody that this is probably the number one opportunity, but it's always good to have knowledge in the market. Absolutely.
Of course. Yeah. So what would you say to, I guess, someone who is a newcomer into the market and thinking about joining a group like this? What advice would you give to newcomers?
So what I would give them is just to, start small, don't get too aggressive, I mean, it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere, but your count can if you're not in the right mindset, if you go in there with like, oh, I want to make money today and you have that mentality, well, that mentality there can always be, not so good. I mean, it may be
Mm-hmm.
great right now and it sounds great, but there'll be times and tribulations and testimonies that that market will put you through. You need to be ready.
Right.
So it's best to start small and gradually increase it when you gain confidence.
Mm-hmm. So stay
Yeah.
away from the get rich quick mindset.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I was looking
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. And that's good advice for anyone coming into the market, that's for sure.
Yeah. Just take it slow and just stay with it and it'll all work out. It really will.
Mm-hmm. And is there anything else that you would like to add before I let you go?
No, that should really do it. But if there is anybody that's watching this video when they're thinking about it, I think that yeah, just take your time with it, be patient, and the market will be great for you as long as you're able to overcome obstacles and be ready to risk manage your money.
Mm-hmm.
Just start small, realize what the program's doing, get your footing in place, and then from there you can fill and accelerate.
Yeah. Definitely. And well, one last question. Do you think that the way that this strategy and the group is set up, has that helped with risk management? Kind of having that outline of how much capital you're risking per trade and kind of understanding with your account value how much to put on the line?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's really good matrices in there to where you could figure out, okay, this is what I'm using. This is what I'm gonna need if we get to these type of levels. And yeah, it's a pretty good community. Sometimes a lot of people can be great, some people can be misleading in a way because sometimes there's a lot of, like people saying, "Oh, I made this much money," and it draws you in to get aggressive, and then you can
Mm-hmm.
kind of yourself kind of hurt in times. But other than that, no, it's a good community. It really is.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I really appreciate it. And I think that that anyone considering getting into this style of trading, it'll definitely be really helpful for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you so much. Have a good night. Want more Trader Babes? Subscribe now and connect with us on social media for exclusive content and access you won't find anywhere else. And we'll see you right here on the next unforgettable episode of Trader Babes.